How's it going, Gumi Gang? Welcome back to the channel, and you saw the title right. Today is not a shotgun video, so I'm sorry if you were hoping for something shotgun related. We are going to get some stuff next week, don't worry, I promise. But I do love to cover unorthodox, quirky, and fun builds that generally work sometimes. And so I've covered hipfire builds for SMGs, Tac Stance builds for ARs, and stuff like that. And today is no exception. We're going to be talking about an insane Tac Stance build for the Superi 46. Now, I know a lot of people have probably beaten you over the head with this gun so much because it's one of the meta contenders for an SMG, so you kind of see it all over the place, used in tournaments and used by just any sweat in general, but you haven't seen it in a Tac Stance kind of way like this. So that's what today's build is going to be. It's very functional, very good mobility, and you guys have to try it if you're looking for something different. As always, timestamps will be in the description below if you want to hop to a certain part of the video, so let's just go ahead and hop right into it. Now first, a little bit of background on why this gun is so good. Of course, the time to kill is one of the great things about it. As you can see, its time to kill isn't the fastest of the three like meta SMGs, but it's barely behind. I mean, 30 milliseconds, come on, that's really not that noticeable at all. So this gun has a good time to kill, but even at range, it's still pretty good, and it still kind of falls in line with the other ones. Now, what makes this gun so good though is not just the time to kill, but its mobility, and specifically its aim down sight strafe speed. Now, I did kit these out, all three of them, to have the same sort of attachments to get as really good of an aim down sight strafe speed as you could, and this is kind of what you can expect from the movement chart. As you can see for Tac Sprint and the Sprint, the FJX Horus has the others beat, but we're really looking at strafe and more specifically aim down sight strafe speed. And as you can see, the Superi absolutely blows the other ones out of the water. It's a really big margin, and it's really noticeable. And then with this build, you are going to be flying so much so that it even kind of makes it to where it's a little hard to hit your target if you're not used to it, because it's going to feel like you're overcorrecting on your sticks to actually track the target. So just something to keep in mind. But yeah, with this gun, you can absolutely fly with your aim down sight strafe speed. So obviously, some of the reasons it works so well is the time to kill is really solid, and of course the aim down sight strafe speed is super good. But with this build in particular, it's not focused solely on Tac Stance. In fact, you'll notice when I show you guys the build, it's focused primarily on aim down sight's movement speed, and that's really how to get this really great strafe speed is with a lot of these attachments, with some one or two maybe that kind of help with your Tac Stance. But this gun is a generally good spread by default anyway, so I found it's not super necessary to kit it for pure Tac Stance. And at the ranges you should be using this thing, it's not really going to matter too much if it's a little bit wider. Speaking of the build itself, let's go ahead and take a look at what I have. So this is what I landed on for your Tac Stance hypermobility strafe speed build for the Superi 46. The first thing, we have the Zulu barrel. That's mainly just to get us that better mobility. In fact, a lot of these attachments are specifically for that, but it does hurt your Tac Stance spread a little bit. Just keep that in mind, but it's okay. We have other things to offset that, specifically the laser light laser. This thing has a great sprint to fire speed boost, aim down sight speed boost, and of course your Tac Stance spread boost. It's really a nice laser. Of course it is visible, but it's probably one of the better ones just for kind of handling overall, and also a good Tac Stance spread. Now, of course, we are using the Jack Cutthroat. This is a great attachment for strafe speed in particular. Now, no stock is great for just handling and mobility overall, but when you want to go specifically for aim down sight's movement speed, the Jack Cutthroat is kind of unrivaled in that degree. Now, the 40 round mag, kind of a necessity. This gun doesn't have really much ammo, and 40 rounds, you kind of need to take what you can get. And of course, we're rocking the MSP 98 hand stop. Now, if the spread is a little too much for you, like if it's just a little too wide, you want it to be a little bit more accurate, maybe say you're going for more medium range kills with this, which you can totally do in Tac Stance, I would just say swap out that hand grip for something like the Bruin Bastion angled grip. Now, you are going to lose a little bit of that aim down sight's movement speed, but that's okay. It's still going to be pretty damn fast, and most people still probably won't be able to track you super well, and the Bruin Bastion angle grip is one of the best attachments usually for Tac Stance builds. If you want to get even crazier, you could even put the Stalker perk on, which I've used in a couple loadouts, so it does help by a small bit. It's going to make you fly even more, which is really fun. If you really want to go for min-maxing, that's a great way to go, but of course you have to switch up your perks, which not a lot of people like to do. They typically run the same ones over and over, so I just figured I'd point that out there though. As far as my thoughts overall on this build, it's fantastic. Of course, it's already a great, amazing SMG, but putting it in Tac Stance, even though you kind of lose some of that accuracy, and you might have some instances where you probably would have benefited just from aim down sight specifically, having that Tac Stance spread can be really nice, especially since there's a little bit more spread, so you have the ability to hit more headshots, as long as you're kind of aiming at that chest level, you're gonna kind of hit some headshots here just naturally by aiming at the enemy in the chest level. It's got great mobility, it's got great handling, and it's just a super solid way to kit this gun out, and probably one of the better Tac Stance builds you can get currently, even though there's ones that are better for range or maybe have a little bit better mobility overall. This one has probably the best aim down sight stray speed that you can find. Even some of the shotguns get close to it, but not quite as much. And that pretty much covers everything I wanted to share with you guys about this specific build. Now, one small thing to note, next week we are getting Season 5, and with that, I'm hoping we get a balance adjustment for some of the shotguns, specifically slug shotgun builds. I really think that they need some love, and even some other adjustments would be nice to see in the shotgun category. It's a little dry in that department, but also we are going to be getting some aftermarket parts. It's confirmed now. We're getting one for the Moors. That's the blunderbuss style barrel. We are going to be getting the Akimbo Spaz, and it looks like there's another scatter type gun for the Bow 27, which is going to basically turn it into a laser shotgun, it sounds like, so that's pretty cool. There's going to be some fun stuff next week, so definitely keep an eye out for that. But basically, that's all I got for you guys. So let me know down below in the comments, what do you think about this build? Are you excited for Season 5? Are there any shotguns that you hope get some small buffs, or maybe some type of ammunitions you'd like to see get buffed? And with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.
I'm taking fire!